Hi everyone, this is Rain Mendoza and welcome to my Storytelling 101. Once upon a time, I had this story that's been running in my head for the longest time, and it took me 2 years to write that story. In 2016, I self-published my book, my very first book. It's called Fabulous. It's about a young girl or woman who came to the United States and had 2 weeks of exciting adventures. This is the book in 2016. This is what it looked like when I first published. And then in 2018, I changed the cover, and this is what it looks like now. So anyways, writing that story and being able to run all the way to the finish line was very difficult. It's not easy. There were so many struggles that I had to deal with, that I had to overcome. So it wasn't easy. But the good thing was, I learned how to write fiction and publish my book through the help of so many generous people online who are willing to share their skills, their experiences, their knowledge, just to be able to help people like me starting from scratch. We didn't know anything, we didn't have money to pay for professional services to do the legwork for us. So that was a blessing. And so I've decided it's time to give back, and this is my way of giving back. If you're just beginning to write a story or become a storyteller, this is for you. I feel with all the technology that we have right now, this is the best time for anybody to learn how to write. We have the internet, we have our devices. There are tons of information online that we can tap into to make ourselves better and be able to accomplish our goals. I think one of the best things to have when you're just starting to write is patience, because there are so many things to learn and you cannot possibly learn everything in such a short time. You also have to be committed. Once you start, you have to make sure that you're not losing your interest or your motivation, your drive. You have to stick to what you're doing. Also, you have to be able to keep your creativity flowing, because you need to be creative when you're writing. So, if you've stayed this far to listen to me, I think you're all set. Guess what? You're not dreaming, you're actually doing it. So let's get started. There's really no one way to teach how to write a story, because for me, storytelling is a personal experience. Storytelling enables us to take our audiences with us in the same journey that we've created, so that we can inspire them, inform them, spark their interest, or to share a lesson that we want them to learn and apply in their lives. So number 3, what are the most important rules of storytelling? For me, it's very important that your story is original. You can always repeat a scenario or a situation and incorporate that into your story, but you have to put your own twist. You cannot copy somebody else's work. It has to be your own story. That's very important. And if you are citing facts. Like, for example, you're describing a place that really exists, you have to do your research. You cannot be making up stuff or throwing, whatever you've made up into the story, because your audience will find out and they're gonna get turned off. Because you always have to make sure you're presenting accurate information to your audience, and you should never ever mislead your audience, because they'll find out and it's not good. Okay, number 4. What should be your first topic to write about as a beginner? Don't stress yourself. For me, the best topic to write about as a beginner is the one that's closest to your heart. Your topic must be something that's very, very familiar. You gotta start with your own experience. I suggest you pick something that you're already doing. Number 5, what are the 3 basic parts of a story? The standard for every writer. You have to have a beginning, a middle, and an ending. So those are the 3 important parts of the story. Okay, we're gonna jump into number 6. What are the most important elements of a story? Alright, for me, a story needs to have a central character. And depending on the length of your story, you can introduce supporting characters that will interact with your main character. If you're writing a very short story, I suggest you just create one character who will be your main character, and then another person to interact with. So the next thing is your story must have a conflict. There has to be a problem that your character needs to go through or needs to get out of, and that problem needs to be resolved at the end of the story. Okay, next to that, your story needs to have a compelling ending. If you want your audience to learn a lesson, make sure they get the message by the time they've read the very last word in your story. Number 7, how do you prepare yourself before writing a story? Okay, I have some suggestions. The first one, and every writer says this, you have to read. You have to read. You have to read. Because when you read, you become familiar with the way different writers communicate their thoughts, and you can pick on styles that work for you. There are so many styles out there that you can choose from, because right now you're still looking. So I suggest that you read different kinds of books so you can be exposed to different kinds of styles from different writers. But all I'm saying is, do not have just one style. You want to pick different styles to try until you found the best that suits your personality and your style as a writer. Okay? My next suggestion is you have to be observant. Most stories are written from experiences. Next suggestion, I want you to be in touch with yourself, because they said the most powerful story is the most personal. If you can talk to your audience with transparency and honesty, like just a friend having a conversation, it doesn't matter what kind of writing style you choose. You and your audience will develop a great relationship, and that's very important when you write. Your audience will be more engaged, and they will absorb your message with eagerness and hunger. Alright, my next suggestion is for you to keep a notebook or any kind of however you want to record or jot down your thoughts. It's very important that you don't forget. You need to have a tool to record your sudden burst of creativity, right? So keep a notebook. Next, let's go to number 8. We're almost done. Number 8, why are we doing less than 500 words, right? Well, for beginners, it's easier to write a story with enough room to express your thoughts, so you have enough words to describe your plot, and so that you can make your settings and your characters visually appealing to your audience. Because writing a book it has to be descriptive, it has to be visual in a way, because your audience are only relying on your words. They don't see your book like a movie where people are there to tell them what's going on. Your audience has to pay attention to your words alone, and your words have to describe your settings and your characters the way your audience should see them in their heads. At the same time, 500 words, because we want to have fun doing this, and I don't want to set so many restrictions. You are creating something out of nothing, and with that nothing that you created into something, you're going to change lives. All right, we're on number 9, almost there. Okay, so number 9, what do you get after this tutorial? All right, you can submit your story to me after we're done with the tutorial on the 5th day, and I am going to publish your story on my website with your byline and your bio, so you can use it, your published work, as part of your portfolio, and also for you to be able to brag, that hey, I wrote something, it's online, it's published, and yes, you did it. Yay, number 10. Okay, what will we learn in the next lesson? Good question. We're going to learn how to write your introduction. Yay! Are you ready? You should be. All right, so there you have it. This is my very first YouTube broadcast, and I am excited. At the same time, I would like to apologize if I've been slow or dragging or you couldn't understand me. You can subscribe to my channel for more helpful content in the future. Yay! So please hit like before you leave, so I know that you have enjoyed this session and that you're coming back for more. See you next time, guys. Enjoy yourself, take care, and be safe. See you in the next lesson.